I want you to take a look at all these games on the screen right now. In my opinion, these are 10 out of 10 games. They're some of my most favourite games ever, because they're more than just above average in their genre. They're entire experiences. I mean, look, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. You get the point. What I'm trying to say is, these games are very special because there's so very few of them. And I never thought I'd play a game of similar quality, until... One of the reasons Undertale is so impressive is that the whole thing was only made by one man, but what's even more impressive is how many names this guy has in the credits. But I know what you guys are thinking. Look at this visuals. This game isn't really that pretty. I mean, obviously it's like 8-bit or 16-bit or whatever, but I mean, look, this is who you play as. In all the fights, characters are black and white, and it's not even not that very amazingly nice looking. But listen, right, the main focus was never how amazing the sprites or visuals were. Atmosphere and story was built up in different ways, and considering how flipping good the emotional story is, it just shows you how big of an achievement Undertale is. Oh my god, have I even mentioned the soundtrack yet? It's absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't even be exaggerating if I said that every song works during the game when it's played. Well, I mean, that doesn't sound very good. I mean, like, every song works, like, whether it's a boss fight, bit of dialogue, or just plain exploring, you know what I mean? One of the coolest things about the soundtrack is the reusing of melodies. It's a win-win because it means that Toby, the game's creator, doesn't have to design a completely new song every time, but it also builds up a sense of nostalgia, and this game is only a few hours long. When I go shopping in this game, it's not to buy health items, it's just to listen to the music. I mean, listen to this. But now we've got to talk about the world atmosphere, the underground. You start off in the ruins, which is basically like every other dungeon game, but very purple. And then the Snowden town, which is like every other RPG game where there's a snowy area. And then there's the waterfall, which is actually nothing like waterfalls at all because it's purple again. But then you've got the core and the hotlands, which is like every other lava planet you've been to. And then eventually New Home, which they kind of gave up on colour at this point. But they only make the game look really good when they want you to think and stop and go, yo, something important is happening. Most of the time, atmosphere is built up from all the funny, wacky characters, also memorable. I mean, look, Papyrus, he's like the coolest character in the game. So you came to have a date with me, let's go somewhere nice. Papyrus, you son of a gun, you took me all the way around just to come back to your house. So yeah, the game is pretty funny, but now let's talk about the story. Well, actually let's not, because I'd give away too much. But basically, you're this little guy and you basically want to get home. That's pretty much it. But what's really cool is you can choose to kill everyone, or you can spare everyone. And the only way you should play, because the other one is mean, is the pacifist route. Instead of killing all the monsters, you can work out how to spare them using this act button, which can lead you to talking to them, petting them, or even flirting with them, which can lead to dates. Working out the right spare actions is often hilarious. Like, look at this guy, this is the lesser dog. All you need to do is pet him once and you can spare him. Or, if you're feeling cheeky, you can keep petting him until his head goes off the entire screen. But if you're feeling like a total, I don't know why you do this, but you can do the genocide run, and essentially this involves killing everything you can, literally going out of your way to. But you know, the world starts to go all kind of weird, the boss fights get harder, people don't even appear at the shops. Just don't do this one, do the pacifist one, you get the good ending, okay? But now, finally, it's time to talk about why Undertale is so good. In order to understand why Undertale is so good, we can't just simply split the game up into different categories like we kind of did with this video. If we were to rank every category and rank out of 10, it wouldn't seem fair to Undertale when looking at what it's trying to achieve as a whole. The battle animations aren't that good looking and are kinda lazy, which means we can only give it an 8 out of 10 for visuals. Because of how unique Undertale is, we need to look at it as a whole product, almost like an experience. When getting a 2D RPG game, what do you expect? Well, probably a good story which makes you actually like the characters and the world atmosphere. It would have to be pretty long, and if it's shorter than usual, it would have to be memorable enough or have some sort of replayability. And finally, turn-based combat is really not my thing, so it'd have to have something different. Undertale says, fine, here's our A-list lineup of memorable, unique characters in this charming world, offering to the player to kill all of them or befriend all of them, and even what would usually be a very boring combat system is enhanced by this little bullet hell box and all the fun interactions you have with the characters. Undertale rewards you with exploration and curiosity. The snowman at the beginning of the game never really forgot about you, and if you want you can go all the way back to the ruins to where your journey first started, along the way passing every monster who was once your enemy, now just glad to be free. This game even has the idea of saving and respawning as built into the story. No time has been wasted here, making Undertale a fantastic experience. I replayed this game to get all this footage, and it took me around 4 hours, and while I may have only used around 6 minutes of it, it was completely worth just playing the game again. So now it's finally time for a score out of 10. Undertale has everything and more, multiple ways to approach the game, whether it be a pacifist, genocide, or somewhere in between run. A simple but charismatic visual style, an amazing soundtrack and emotional story. The game only may take 6 hours, but every minute can be rewarding, challenging, or simply just charming. 9.5 out of 10. Okay, that was pretty weird. Anyway, game is a 9.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Oh, it did it again. Well, anyway, 9.5 out of 10. Why wouldn't it let me just give 9.5? Like, what? 9.5 out of 10. I said it's a 9.